Hey everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video I'm doing this trick or treat acrylic design set which was for a collab with Charlie's Nail Art. I will leave the info for the Charlie's Nail Art collabs in the description box below, so do check that out if you guys want to take part. But on to today's design, I have already applied tips and a clear base to my Glamerliz hand, and first up I'm going to be coming in with this gorgeous glitter which is a Valencia Holo from Trilogy, and I'm just going to be using this as a base for my more chunkier glitter, so you don't really see too much of this particular glitter in the set. But what I've done is picked it up with a teeny tiny bead of clear acrylic, and I'm just applying that to the tip of the nail. So this nail is going to be a glitter fade, but because the glitter I was using was quite chunky, I thought I'd pop down a finer glitter first of all, just so that the nail had that full-on glitter look to it. So I'm making sure to keep this layer of glitter really thin because we don't want to end up with a too bulky nail. And the next glitter I'm going to be coming in with is the gorgeous Bonfire Nights mix from Charlie's Nail Art. I do have a discount code for Charlie's which is always in the description box below, so do check that out if you're looking to place an order. And again, I'm picking that glitter up with a small wet bead of clear acrylic, and I'm just keeping my brush wet so I'm able to nudge those pieces of glitter around until I'm happy with how they're all placed. Just taking my time to get them all lying flat as well, just because this will make it a lot easier when it comes to encapsulating. And then I'm just going to tap on pieces of glitter here and there if I want certain colours, so that there's not too many colours close together. And I think I do also pop a small few glitter pieces down at that fade area, just so it all fades out a little bit more. Or here you can see I'm also nudging them around just so that it's not a too harsh line, even though I'm going to be coming over this with acrylic anyway. And then I'm going to leave that to set, so I come in and did exactly the same on the little finger. So I did leave this in, but I decided I would speed it up just so you could see the application process still, but it's not super repetitive. So again, applying that finer mix first of all, and then I'm going to come over the top with the chunkier mix. And I always leave my glitter to set when doing an ombre before coming in with my acrylic, because otherwise you will move those glitter pieces around. Same goes for encapsulating as well. Just leave the glitter to set before encapsulating and it makes it a whole lot easier. So I'm then going to jump back to that pointer finger and I'm going to be using CJP's Perfect Peach. Now this is a very full coverage nude acrylic, so it is a little trickier to work with compared to some of their other core colours, but it's an absolutely gorgeous colour. So to begin with, I've placed down a really small wet bead because I knew how full coverage it was. I just decided it would be easier to come in with a small wet bead first of all to start creating that fade over the glitter. So as you see, I placed that down and just washed it over the acrylic, and then I'm coming in with another small bead at the cuticle area, tapping it up into place, being really careful not to touch what would be the cuticle and skin, and then pulling that down over the previous bead of acrylic, and this will continue creating that fade over the glitter. Now because I knew that this powder was a little bit trickier to work with, that's why I started off by working in smaller beads with it. I've not really used it too often, so I just thought until I got the hang of it a little bit more, it would be easier to work in smaller beads and build up that coverage. So that's what you can see me doing here. And I'm just going to continue doing this until I'm happy with that fade, keeping my brush quite wet with monomark so I'm able to fade out the acrylic over the glitter without it taking over too much. And then you will see that I do just come in and clean off any bits of acrylic that I don't want on the glitter side, so that that glitter is going to look crystal clear and sparkly once we have encapsulated. And I decided to come in with another small bead here just to build up the coverage on that fade area just a little bit more. And again, feathering it out all of the time. I use quite light strokes on my brush when I'm doing an ombre, just so I don't drag too much of the colour down. And I'll then leave this to set before encapsulating and move on and do the exact same on the little finger. And once again, I've sped it up on the little finger just because it's that exact same process. So I'll just let you guys watch and I'll pop back in a mo. And now we're ready to encapsulate those two nails. So I'm going to be encapsulating with my CJP crystal glass. This is my go-to clear acrylic. I absolutely love it. So I've picked up a small bead to begin with and I'm just placing it down at that fade area, blending it out slightly, and then I'm pulling this down over the tip of the nail. Now originally what happened was I picked up this bead and it was just a little too small, but I decided to just work with it rather than waste it. So I now come in with another bead just to build up the thickness of that tip area. So I'm placing that down right at the tip, blending it back just so that there's enough strength and structure there for the length of the nails. Trying to keep my acrylic application as neat as possible, especially with the sidewalls and the free edge, just to reduce the amount of filing that I have to do. And then I'm just going to come in again with a little bit more because I just felt as though the nail was a little too thin. So I'm just going to continue building this up. It was really cold in the room that I was working in, so it made my acrylic a little bit more runnier. I think I said this in my previous acrylic video as well. I actually find it harder to work with acrylic in the cold weather rather than the hot. I just actually find it easier when it sets up a little bit faster, or maybe it's because the last time I really used acrylic was when the weather was hot, so I'm quite struggling with the colder weather. But anyway, I did do exactly the same on the little finger, but I left that out. So we're now going to move on to the middle finger. Now the middle finger is going to be a full nail of that CJP Perfect Peach. So I'm just going to build up the entire nail using this colour. Now this colour is a core powder, so that means it's a strength powder, so it doesn't need to be encapsulated. So I'm just going to build up the entire nail using this colour, making sure that I pop in all that strength, structure, my apex, etc., all with this particular colour. But I've started off roughly halfway down the nail and I've just blended my bead back and then walked it down towards the free edge. I'm then going to come in with my next bead of acrylic and I place this roughly in the apex area rather than the cuticle area because the nail is quite long. So I'm placing it down. I'm going to just tap at the side slightly to bring it into the center, and then I'm basically just pulling the top of that bead of acrylic down because I'm leaving the bulk of the acrylic in that apex area to build up our apex. So I'm just feathering the top of the bead of acrylic down so it blends in with the previous bead. And then I'll come in with that cuticle bead next. But I'm just keeping my brush wet so I can feather out that acrylic and just get the application as smooth as possible. And then with my acrylic bead, I'm placing it right down at that cuticle area, tilting the nail down so that none of the product flows back and floods the cuticle. And then again, I'm just pulling the top of that bead of acrylic down, leaving most of it in that apex area again. Just keeping everything nice and smooth. And then off camera I did feel before filing this nail that it was a little thin, so I did actually come in and add a little bit more in the apex area and down the barrel of the nail. And then I did exactly the same on the ring finger, and then off camera I filed and buffed them all ready to come in and do some artwork. So this particular set was, like I said at the start, it was done as a collaboration for Charlie's Nail Art. And the theme was trick or treat, and I didn't really have anything nail art wise that I felt represented trick or treating. To me, trick or treating is like sweeties and chocolate, so I decided I would come in and try and hand paint some sweets. But hand painting is really not my strong point, so I hope that you guys can tell these are sweets. But basically what I'm doing is I'm just using some orange gel polish. This is orange soda from Kiki London, and I'm just painting on some oval sort of lemon shapes. and then I'm going to cure that first coat and just come in with a second coat just to build up the colour. I'm trying to keep this quite thin. I don't want to add too much gel polish because I don't want the nail to feel too lumpy bumpy, but I did want the coverage of the gel polish just to be a bit more opaque. So I'm just coming in over the top of that with a second coat, and then I'll pop that in to cure for 60 seconds as well. And I have sped this part of the video up quite a lot because it did take me ages to draw something so simple. But once I've done that second coat again, I'll pop them in to cure for 60 seconds. Just trying to keep the shape as nice as I can with my brush so that I didn't have to clean up with any alcohol. But if you aren't 100% happy with the shape, you can just clean up with some alcohol before curing, like you will see I do here with that little bit of white that I've done wrong there. And I wanted these to look like your classic sweets in a wrapper, so I'm just coming in now and finishing off that sweet wrapper with my Kiki London French white. I'm just trying to be as neat as I can and create the shape of it as best as I can, but like I said, I suck at hand painting. It's definitely something I want to do more though, but I just find it really hard. I don't know how people draw these, like some of the Halloween nails I've seen, and people have painted such realistic spiders and clowns and all sorts of things. I just look at them with sheer amazement because I struggled to paint some sweets. Now over the top of the orange, I just felt as though the orange looked a little too bold, so what I did was mixed a little bit of the orange soda and the white together and just placed it in the center of the nail just to try and give the sweet wrapper a little bit more dimension. And then I'm just going to finish up doing the exact same on these two sweets as well, so that they all look like the first one. And then this is what our design looks like so far. On the ring finger, I just decided I would come in and add a cute little pumpkin charm because you can't have trick-or-treating without a pumpkin. So I'm just placing down some jewelry gel in the corner of that nail and just feathering it out slightly. And then this cute little pumpkin that I'm going to use is also from Charlie's Nail Art, and I'm just going to simply pop him down in that uncured jewelry gel, and then I'll pop that in to cure for 60 seconds and he will be stuck down securely in place. And then it's time to come and top coat all of the nails. So I'm top coating using the CJP tack free top gloss, and I did also want two of the nails matte, so for the matte nails I'm using the Femme Fatale Nails satin sheets, but as always I will leave links in the description box below to all of the products. So the two glitter fade nails are the two nails that I wanted glossy, just so you could really see how beautiful those glitters were. So I'm just going to apply a thin even layer of that to the nail, and then the middle and the ring finger were the two nails that I wanted matte, so I'm just going to apply that exact same way that I apply my glossy top coat. And then once I have top coated all of the nails, I'll pop them in to cure for 60 seconds. And guys, that is the end of the design, so I really hope you all enjoyed watching. They were a really fun, cute set to do, and as I said, they were for a Charlie's Nail Art collab, so I will leave a link in the description box below to Charlie's Nail Art Instagram where you can see next month's collabs and hopefully come take part. They're a really fun way to push yourself out of your comfort zone and try some different designs. If you all did enjoy watching, then please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up or leave me a comment below. I absolutely love reading all of your comments, and I'm really appreciative to all of the people who comment on pretty much every video. I do notice yous and it really means a lot to me, so thank you all so much. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would absolutely love it if you hit subscribe. Once again, thank you for watching. Take care, lots of love, bye bye.